Hey everybody, this is Coach Desmond for FX. Well, welcome back. We're back and also have another edition of Progress, Not Perfection. I'm excited about coming back because, again, this is an amazing show that basically features the journey, not just the destination, progress, not perfection. And I'm so excited because I want to create a platform from which individuals are not able to come on down to talk about their projects and what they're working on, but more importantly, really talk about the journey that it took for them to go ahead and get there. And I got a great one to get started off with on that. And also, she's a good friend of mine. Her name is Kiyoko Hairston. She's the matter of fact, her past comedian, actress, entrepreneur, slash. She can go ahead and do it. Now she can add author to that. And I'm so very, very excited. Kiyoko is joining us, matter of fact, from Georgia. And matter of fact, Kiyoko, welcome to the show.
Hey, Des, how you
Uh,
doing, Coach
um,
Des?
there it is. There it is. There it is. So I'm so very, very excited about this book. As you guys can clearly see on the screen here, Freeda's Fabnificent Feet. Again, what I'm loving about this book, and also, first of all, is the message. Matter of fact, in this book going on here, and also, in fact, Kyoko, just kind of go ahead and share overall in terms of what type of impact you're hoping this book is going to be making based upon your story.
Oh man, well, I can see it happening already. I mean, I'm crying pretty much every day.
All right.
I'm like, but pretty much, I just want people to, in one sentence, know that what's unique about them is their superpower.
Mm,
Something like all things working together for the
right.
good,
Right,
right?
right. And in this book, speaking of superpower, this is interesting because I love how what you're doing here. Because when you this is somewhat autobiographical. You've shared with me your story before in terms of you had big feet, and like a lot of kids and also growing into their bodies, sometimes things aren't quite in proportion, and you actually got made fun of having big feet. A matter of
Right,
fact, as a kid,
right.
and this character on that was able to turn that around to where they started using their big feet where other people were clowning them and making fun of them. They're actually using their big feet to actually make turn them into a superhero. Talk about that.
Yeah, okay. So, like you said, it's Freeda's Fabnificent Feet. That's the title. And it's about a little girl who has really large feet. And on her first day of school, she gets made fun of when she's trying to introduce herself.
Hmm.
And so then she becomes sad and she wants to change her feet. And she tries to actually buy new feet, but they were all out of feet that day. And so, she's sad. She has a major meltdown, and then it's revealed that her feet are actually her superpower. And
Wow.
how that happens is there is an elderly woman who's being harassed by the same bully who's making fun of Freeda.
Wow.
And the lady's in a wheelchair and she's screaming, to leave her alone and all this stuff. And then her wheelchair is out of control. So in order to stop the runaway wheelchair, Freeda springs into action. She does all the acrobatics. She lands in front of the wheelchair, puts her big foot in front of that wheelchair, and brings it to a screeching halt. I'm talking sparks, skid marks, the whole 9 yards. And then from there, she starts to get really popular around town. A lot of people are feeling her and stuff. And then she meets these other kids, big ears, big eyes, big nose. And then she helps them to see that their big differences are also their superpowers. And then
Wow.
they form a superhero team and take their powers to the world.
Wow. Wow. First of all, I don't know about you right now. Even that description alone right now makes you want to go ahead and get this. Go ahead and get this book. In fact, I already do have my copy going on. Hopefully, it's signed by the time I receive it. But anyhow, the point being is this: I'm loving the message regarding here, and I think for a lot of people right now who are joining right now, if you're just joining for the first time, this is Progress, Not Perfection. I'm Coach Desmond. We're interviewing, matter of fact, brand new author, which I believe is going to be best-selling author very, very soon, of the amazing book, and also, matter of fact, Kiyoko Hairston, author of Freeda's Fabnificent Feet. I'm loving the impact of this because there are so many people, even adults. In fact, you were sharing that adults are just as excited about this book because they're actually relating to stories where they weren't exactly feeling, or maybe they were bullied or basically made fun of because of their big head, big ears, big nose, or whatever. What are adults telling you when you meet them?
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I really couldn't have orchestrated this intentionally as far as the reactions that I'm getting. When I tell adults about the book, I'm usually trying to pitch it to their children, on behalf of their children. And then the adults say, "Oh, that sounds like something I would want to read." And then they start to tell me, yeah, like my feet are big, or they used to bother me about my nose or my ears or what have
Mhm,
you.
mhm.
And they're always so engaged, in my life. I know when people are listening to me
Right.
and when they're not listening to me.
Wow. Wow.
And the blessing in this journey of this story is that every time I tell someone about my book, they seem as equally excited about it as I am. And it just is really so touching and heartwarming and just making me feel all the more purposeful.
In fact, this is an amazing book. If you have a young person right now, or even just the adult who wants to, on the low, buy it for their niece, but really get it for them, on that, thoroughly recommend this, and also because it's a constant reminder that everything we have is valuable.
Yeah.
And even though maybe somebody who doesn't quite understand, it's valuable. And also, in regards to what we have, and everything we have can be a superpower.
Yeah.
Kiyoko, in fact, first of all, I'm excited because, this, as we talk about this show in terms of how we oftentimes feature the journey, not just a destination, this book has been, a matter of fact, several years in the making. How many years?
I started writing it in COVID 2020.
Wow. Okay. And
Yeah.
also, and not exactly what you thought the brochure said. Come up with great idea. Writing a book would be simple. They said all those things didn't quite happen. You went through a number of bumps going on along the way, and also, I mean, were you as shocked as anybody else as to the type of challenges you experienced, and if so, and also, matter of fact, share a couple of things overall here so people can kind of know the journey.
Oh my gosh, great question. So I thought it was going to be easy. In fact, I felt in my spirit like
Mm,
30 years ago, I was going to write children's books. I felt like it was God trying to communicate that to me.
yeah.
A lot of times you make that first mistake when you feel like God told you something,
Mm,
you can make that mistake of thinking like, oh, this is about to be easy.
yeah.
Okay. So that's the first thing. So I get started, I write my first draft. I got encouragement. One of my friends whose mom founded a charter school in New Jersey read my first draft, and she said, "This is wonderful. I believe you'll win awards for this," and so on and so forth. So out of the gate, I got this encouragement. I felt this special feeling inside that I had started something good.
Yeah.
And then I started looking for illustrators, and I was on places like Fiverr
Mm,
and Upwork, and I was basically sort of auditioning illustrators, and things weren't working out. Some
yeah.
people, initially wouldn't make Freeda speak big enough and stuff. They are telling me about my feet, and so then I finally linked up with someone on Upwork, and I thought she was super talented and everything. But turns out I ignored a red flag because she was definitely one of the people who didn't want to draw to my specifications. It was very important to me that Freeda's feet stand out. Like when you see the cover and the illustrations, that you don't have to think about it. It's like, what's wrong with her feet? I want you to think that. And so that became an issue. And then as things progressed, I began to see that the person was using artificial intelligence to create the drawings. And while wouldn't have had an immediate objection to that, she wasn't honest about it. And so some of the challenges would be a lack of consistency in how the character looked from page to page.
Yeah, and in fact, let me just jump in here. So, and this was the kind of thing that you were having with several people along
Yeah.
the way. And matter of fact, again, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, because there are so many people right now who are saying, I've wanted to write a book, or maybe they got caught up on a roadblock. Maybe it wasn't an illustrator, maybe it was a writer or what have you. What were kind of some of the things that you were doing just to kind of keep you going in the midst of this? Because you were getting hit with one block after the other that honestly and quite frankly, a lot of people may have quit. What kept you going, and how important was your faith in this regard to keep this going, to see this project come to pass?
Man, I'm so glad you asked, because God definitely, you know, I pray every day. I also think that God probably removed some people, from my circle just to cause me to have to focus. I didn't have as much time available to talk on the phone like I so love to do sometimes. And,
Sure.
my focus really sort of just honed in. So there was definitely prayer, and then focusing on the good in situations, because when I hit that last bump, that last hurdle with that last illustrator, before I found my guy, my illustrator, this last person really did a number on me. I wasted money. Maybe about $1,400 got lost in that mix, and I really kind of wanted to sue. And so as I found myself venting, I felt my immune system literally start to break down. I started feeling fluid. There was times where my throat was starting to kind of close up, and it almost felt like I couldn't even speak the way that I wanted to. And so I said, as much as I deserve to win this fight, I have to focus on the bigger picture, and that's getting this book out. And so the beautiful thing is that I have friends like you, and I have other friends that God has allowed to remain, and to offer that godly wisdom and encouragement, and say, hey, you got to pivot. And one person told me there's provision in the pivot. In the pivot. So when I felt like I had spent so much money, too much money, where is this next money coming from the next illustrator? Then that person said there is provision in the pivot. And I had to focus on, like the Bible says, focus on what is right, what is just, what is pure, what is of good report. And I had a good story that I believed in, that God had already told me that I was going to write. And it's not a Christian book. I'm a Christian author who wrote a children's book. But he's still a part of my life and all of my decisions and everything that I do. And so first I have to go to God and just be like, hey, I need encouragement. This is right down here. That basically sums it up, to be honest.
Wonderful. And I think that's more so. Guys, I don't know if you guys have been inspired by this, but I am going on here as well, particularly that portion of that. And also many of us right now are in the midst of our projects. Some of you guys are authors going on here. I'm hoping you were inspired by this to go ahead and simply keep on going. So Kiyoko, matter of fact, people are already coming from all over the place asking to go ahead and get a copy. I know I got my copy, and also I've got my copy on the way here. And also, how can people, matter of fact, pick this up? Because I'm hearing everybody from doctors' offices on that, even particularly physicians who are pediatricians, podiatrists, and also people who are seeing patients literally who deal with this all the time, are loving the message of this book. So first of all, how can people, matter of fact, how can people go ahead right now and pick up a copy, matter of fact, for their kids, hint, for themselves, but picking it up for their kids? Where can they go right now to go ahead and support you in that regard?
Right. So get your pen or your computer or whatever. Freeda's Fabnificentfeet.com. So you see that title up there on the screen. So it's the title.com without that apostrophe in Freeda. It's Fabnificentfeet.com. I am in the middle of a soft launch. So books are up there for sale, hardcover, soft and soft cover. And then I'm going to say this, but I want you to hear me very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
On October 1st is the
Right.
hard launch, which means it will be on Amazon. My distributor is Ingram Spark. However, some of those places take over 40% of my profits. All of them do. So if you really want to get blessed and bless me at the same time, I would love it if
Yeah.
you would go ahead and go to my website,
Mm-hmm.
FreedaSFabnificentFeet.com, and make
Wonderful.
that purchase, because
Yeah.
then I put
Yeah.
up part 2 and part 3.
In fact, I just posted it just now, going on here as well. So right now, look at the very bottom of your feed there. You'll see FreedaSFabnificentFeet.com. You're able to go ahead and get this as well. Obviously, we want to go ahead and support, a matter of fact, this amazing author in terms of what she's doing. So again, please go to Freeda's Fabnificent Feet. Take a look at it. Love the great website. Nice little carousel, which actually gives people a little look there. Even now, Kiyoko is showing in terms of I love the campfire scene because everyone is showing and displaying their superpower going on here as well. So again, matter of fact, so Kiyoko, I am so excited for you, and I'm hoping for those who got a chance to watch today's matter of fact segment are also equally excited. So again, the website is below there, FreedaSFabnificentFeet.com. On that, also available on Amazon too, correct?
On October 1st
Yeah.
is on Amazon. So if things don't get real to you until it's on Amazon, you can go there on October 1st. But if you want to help me make my money back, then
always the marketer, always the marketer. So with
one
this,
more thing,
no problem. Yeah.
I want to let everybody know that the first 200 copies are actually going to receive the free read-along version of the book. So basically what that will be is get to see the illustrations come across your computer screen, iPad, or what have you, but you also hear me doing the voiceover so that you can catch the vibe, because obviously I'm making up words like Fabnificent. You know, the name of my publishing company is Fabniversal Books. So I want you guys to know, what these words are. I even have a little dictionary in the back of the book and some fun facts about feed and all that kind of stuff. So you're getting more in this book. It has more pages than a typical book because I just want to make sure that you got better buck here.
All right. Well, guys, Freeda's Fabnificent Feet is there available right now. Go to FreedaSFabnificentFeet.com. Going on here. I'm Coach Desmond. I've had the privilege right now of having Kiyoko Hairston, also author of this amazing new book. And again, what an amazing story. And most of all, thank you for not quitting on this vision. And most of all, thank you for allowing yourself to basically, matter of fact, to show, to display progress, not perfection. All right, wonderful. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. And also, if you love what you heard here, please go ahead and forward this right now. This is currently streaming on both Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube going on here. So again, please place your comments as far as that's concerned. But most of all, go to the website, go ahead and support this amazing young author. And I believe this is going to be a series. In fact, it literally says a superhero series. So I got a feeling this is not going to be the last time we hear from this amazing author. So with that in mind, then continued success to you. God bless you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too as well.
Tell the wife I said hi.
I will tell her indeed. All right. So guys, take care. God bless you. And also, but we'll see you next time. Post your comments. Let me know what you thought about today's show. On that, post, like, subscribe. You know how it is. All right. Continued success to all of you.